Welcome back to the Road to Secret Wars. I'm Sean TDS, and today we'll be looking at X-Men, released in 2000. X-Men follows a young girl named Rogue who, after having an accident, runs away to Canada where she meets a mutant named Wolverine. And then they meet more mutants, all while being pursued by the Brotherhood of Mutants, led by a mutant named Magneto. Drinking challenge. Take a shot every time I say mutant. Anyway, I'm just kidding. Before we start, I'd like to clarify what the character rights status was as of this time. The X-Men, Fantastic Four, and Daredevil were all with Fox, Spider-Man was with Sony, Hulk was with Universal, and the Punisher was with Lionsgate. And most other characters were kept by Marvel. We touched upon this in the Blade video, but Marvel ended up going bankrupt in the 90s and had to sell most of their characters just to stay afloat. This was also the first Marvel movie of the new millennium, so expectations were high. Were they met? Let's find out. So the movie begins in 1944 Nazi-occupied Poland, where a boy is being separated from his parents when being forced into the Auschwitz concentration camp. While trying to reach them, he ends up bending the metal gates towards him with his mind due to his mutant ability to control metal, until he's knocked unconscious. Cut to the present day, where Senator Robert Kelly is attempting to pass the Mutant Registration Act, which would effectively force mutants to come out of hiding and reveal their identities. Watching this unfold is Professor Charles Xavier, as well as the boy from the beginning, Eric Lehnsherr, now calling himself Magneto. Charles is worried about how Eric will respond to the Mutant Registration Act, and receives a vague warning/threat from him. In Mississippi, a girl named Marie puts her boyfriend into a coma after kissing him, with her having the ability to absorb the life force and powers of others. She takes on the name Rogue and runs away from home and ends up in Canada, where she meets another mutant called the Wolverine, or Logan, after he wins a cage match and is attacked by the loser. I'm sure I don't need to point this out, but I will anyway. Logan has the ability to protrude claws from his knuckles and regenerate very quickly. He decides to let her hitch a ride with him until they are attacked by another mutant, Sabretooth, who disables Logan's truck and knocks him out, with Rogue stuck in the truck. He is about to finish the job until two more mutants, Cyclops and Storm, arrive and scare him away, and then save Logan and Rogue, and they take them to Xavier's school for gifted mutants. Logan meets telekinetic telepath Jean Grey as she's attending to his non-existent wounds, and then he escapes and runs around the school until he is guided into Xavier's office. Xavier believes that Magneto is after Logan, so he asks him to stay in the mansion while he can learn more details, as well as promising to help Logan remember his past. At the same time, Rogue enrolls in the school and meets a cryokinetic, basically he has ice powers, mutant named Bobby Drake, who she develops a crush on. Two members of Magneto's Brotherhood, Toad and Mystique, kidnap Senator Kelly and bring him to their hideout on the island of Genosha. Magneto decides to use Kelly as a test subject by using a machine powered by his magnetic abilities to generate a field of radiation which induces mutations in regular humans. Unfortunately for Magneto, Kelly gets this stretchy, malleable, aquatic mutation, so he's able to escape his prison. Back at the school, Rogue visits Logan while he's having nightmares and startles him awake, causing him to stab her out of instinct, though she's able to use her abilities to absorb his regeneration abilities, so she is able to recover. Mystique, disguised as Bobby, convinces Rogue that Xavier is angry at her and that she needs to leave the school. Xavier uses Cerebro, a mutant tracker, to find Rogue at a train station, so he and the X-Men go after her, leaving Cerebro unguarded, which Mystique sabotages. Logan, who left before Cyclops and Storm, finds Rogue on the train and convinces her to return to the school with him. But they are attacked by Magneto, who knocks out Logan and reveals that he was after Rogue all along. Xavier tries to stop Magneto from taking Rogue by taking control of the minds of Toad and Sabretooth, but is forced to let them go once Magneto threatens the recently arrived police, leaving the Brotherhood to escape with Rogue. Somehow, Kelly made it from Genosha to the school, and Xavier reads his mind to learn Magneto's plan, and after discovering that the strain of the machine nearly killed him, they come to the conclusion that Magneto plans to transfer his powers to Rogue and use it to power the machine, which will kill her. Kelly's body rejects the mutation and he dissolves into liquid and dies. Xavier once again tries to use Cerebro to locate Rogue, but Mystique's sabotage knocks him into a coma. Jean repairs Cerebro, and despite never having used it, is able to locate Rogue on Liberty Island, as well as Magneto's plans to use the machine to mutate the world's leaders at a summit on Ellis Island. They suit up, then fly to Liberty Island, where they encounter the Brotherhood. They get separated, with Wolverine fighting Mystique and Storm and Jean fighting Toad. They defeat them and scale the Statue of Liberty, where they are immediately subdued by Magneto. Logan decides to stab through himself to break his restraints, and he fights Sabretooth, and defeats him with the help of Cyclops. Magneto activates the machine and begins transferring his powers to Rogue. With the help of Jean and Storm, Logan is able to make it up to them, but Magneto stops him from destroying the machine until Cyclops is able to optic blast him, allowing Logan to destroy the machine and stop the radiation wave. Rogue seems dead, so Logan transfers his powers to her, bringing her back, though leaving Logan in a coma. After Xavier and Logan wake up, the X-Men learn that Mystique survived and is impersonating Senator Kelly. Xavier gives Logan a tip towards his past that leads him to an abandoned military base in Canada, while he himself goes to visit Magneto in prison, where they play a nice game of chess. Until Magneto warns Xavier that he plans to escape one day and that the war will never end, and the movie ends with Xavier proclaiming to his old friend that he will always be there. So that was X-Men. I'm gonna be honest, while I grew up with this trilogy, I think this was the one I watched the least, but perhaps I was too dismissive of it. Let's get into the positives. Hugh Jackman is awesome casting. Sorry Short Kings, but that's Wolverine to me. Or Cal Dodd or Steve Blum, but they're animated. Obviously Charles and Magneto are cast perfectly. Aside from the cast being pretty good, I appreciate that it is still pretty a dark movie. Opening with a concentration camp, having a teenager being the main target of the villain who intends to kill her, those are pretty dark topics. Wolverine talking about how the claws hurt every time they come out is sad, but it also reinforces how much of a badass he is. On to the mixed aspects. Let's address the elephant in the room, the costumes. I get they were trying to ride the high of the Matrix, and that they considered bright and colorful costumes goofy back then, and while I don't hate the suits, they look super uncomfortable, and don't really have any identity for each member.
What would you prefer? Yellow spandex?
Magneto looks relatively okay, but again, that helmet just looks super uncomfortable and does not fit his head right. For the negatives, I'm not sure this movie has aged great. Like, it's still a good watch, but it's not one of the first X-Men movies I'd pick if I wanted to rewatch one. With all that being said, I think I'll give this movie a 7.5 out of 10. Not that it's a bad movie, just a decent one. Thanks for watching, guys. Let me know in the comments what you thought about this movie. Has it aged well, and is it a good foundation for this franchise, or are we all blinded by nostalgia? Remember to like and subscribe, and return to the roads to Doomsday next time with Return of the Daywalker in Blade 2.